is Richard Fogel. I'm the Grand Dragon for the realm of Pennsylvania, Visible Empire Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. We're at a Klan rally today in Kingsdale, Pennsylvania, Adams County. We believe that many organizations stand up and fight for the rights of blacks, Jews, homosexuals, Hispanics, Orientals, whatever. We believe that there's nothing wrong with having an organization that stands up for the rights of white people.
That stands up for the rights of white people. We try to raise public awareness. Look at what's happening to your country. Look at what's happening to your town. Look at what's happening to you. It's time somebody stands up for the truth. It's not beating around the bush, and it's not pulling punches. It's getting out there and telling it like it really is.
My name is Xavier Books. My granny pronounced it with an X. She named me after her brother. The name has been in my family for a very long time. Now, when I got to school, the teacher said, it's not Xavier, it's Xavier. So at school, I was Xavier, and at home, I was Xavier. Xavier Books. And this is my story. I never told a story like this before, so bear with me. I know it's supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I got the beginning and middle clear in my head. Not sure yet how it's going to end. But I guess we'll find that out over the next 7 episodes. But first, I want to give you some backstory. They call that the prologue. I'm a football coach. Head coach at Breezywood High School in Breezywood, Pennsylvania, 50 miles north of nowhere in any direction. And nobody calls me by my name or says that it's not Xavier, it's Xavier. Everybody just calls me Coach.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing?
Great game tonight, Coach.
Was.
Can't rest on your laurels, Coach.
Won't.
Gotta get ready for next week, Coach.
Already started. And every once in a while, someone that I've known since we were kids tries to call me Z-Books, Xavier Books.
Hey, Z-Books, how are the playoffs looking?
We all start with the same record, 0-0. But I discourage them from calling me that. You want to know why?
Hey, Xavier!
A little flat tonight.
Yeah.
Happens. Z-Books is a little too familiar. It's like a license to disrespect.
Don't let that happen next week, Z-Books.
But I just smile and wave them on. Another thing you need to know about me before this story begins. Pretty near everybody here likes me.
Coach is probably the finest man in Breezywood.
A real gentleman.
The boys on the team revere him.
When he talks, they listen up.
Doesn't ever have to raise his voice.
Never hear a bad word about him.
They'll build a statue of Xavier in front of that high school someday.
See what I mean? Men, women, old, young, they all like me.
Hey! Am I gonna have to write you a ticket for loitering?
Except for him. Loitering. Who are you to anybody to talk about loitering?
Why don't you get a real job?
Look, stand around all day like you, thumb in my belt. That's getting a little tight, isn't it?
I was telling Teddy about that game against Altoona.
Oh, you living a long way back.
Hey, that's the one that got you into Bloomsburg, and don't you forget.
You say that because you actually threw a block that.
Saved your ass all through school.
Oh, Teddy's a good kid.
I tell him he plays like a girl.
He gives it everything he's got.
I always say you don't have to play him.
I don't. He earned it.
Well, don't play him just because you and me are friends.
He earned it. Even the people you think wouldn't like me, like president of Coal Miners Bank.
Coach, long time.
Mr. Burns.
Well, thank you for helping us put that stadium renovation together.
Well, it's an honor working with you.
Yeah, it was a big boost for us with the mill closing.
Anything I can do to help the local business community.
Well, we don't forget things like that around here. You ever need anything, you just give me a call.
Believe me now, bank president thanking me, give me a call. How about we do one more?
Coach, I want to let you know I got a 5-speed Silverado just come in. You said you might spring for one if I got a manual transmission.
I'll stop in to start it next week if that's all right with you.
Oh, great. Shall I put it aside for you? 5 speeds don't stay on the floor long.
I gotta see what kind of deal I can swing with you first.
Coach, I'll make it happen.
Thanks, man. How about we do one more, and that should give you a better understanding of where I stand in this town.
You son of a bitch!
Helen! That wasn't something I wanted you to see.
I waited 3 hours!
I'm sorry, practice ran late. But maybe it's good that you see it anyway.
You said you were going to call me on Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Why did you call?
No excuse, it's my bad.
You free later?
White women and a black man in a white town. Stow that somewhere, you can find it later on as this story unfolds. One last person I want you to meet.
Xavier,
That's my granny. You don't want to mess with her.
here's exact change. You get you and your sister some candy from Mr. Packer. You go straight there and you come directly home.
I used to spend my summers with her in Georgia.
And you listen good. You ask Mr. Packer for this much candy, and you call him Mr. Packer. And you say please, and you say thank you. You take your candy, and you come straight home. You hear me?
Yes, Granny. And then she told me something that was probably the most important lesson of my childhood.
Xavier, honey,
Yes, Granny?
don't you look him in the eye. Don't you ever look a white man in the eye.
That was a long time ago. And, you know, sometimes I still have to tell myself I'm not in Georgia. I'm in Breezywood, Pennsylvania. I mean, how far you think I would have gotten in life not looking a white man in his eye in Breezywood, Pennsylvania?
We say white is for white, black is for black, yellow is for yellow, and that's the way it's gotta be. That's the way the Holy Bible says it should be. And if we don't do it, we're gonna become a racial monstrosity like the world has never seen.
Like the world has
I said, what do you call these people?
What do you
These
call
mulattoes.
these mulattoes?
How do they fill out a census form? What do they check? Other?
What box do they check? Other?
What are they?
What are they? Black, white. They've got no history. They've got no conscience. They don't care what they are. I feel for those kids because the blacks don't like them and the whites don't like them.
Hello? Are you still here? I didn't know you spent the night.
What?
I said, why are you still here?
I was dead tired last night. Fell asleep on the couch.
What?
I said I fell asleep on the couch.
Why did you go to bed?
Can a man shave?
What?
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Are you all right?
You smacked me right in the eyeball with the door.
Damn, I'm so sorry, baby. Are you okay?
I don't see it. Let me look in the mirror. Oh, Jesus!
No reason to blame Jesus. It's all on me.
Damn right it's on you. Why are you still here? It's almost daylight. Someone might see you leave.
No one will see me leave.
How do you know?
Because I know everything about everyone in this town. I've lived here my whole life. Miss Wheeler lives next door. Blind as Raggedy Ann with button eyes until she gets her glasses on. An arborvitae blocks the window that side of the Jameson's place, and I leave my car across the park.
Are you going straight home or to school first?
Not going to school.
Why aren't you going to school?
Got a little meeting to attend.
A meeting? Where? With who?
Mr. Phelps and a committee of business folk.
I don't trust business folks. They line their pockets and don't care how the downtown is falling apart.
Oh, is that what they called 2nd Street today? Downtown? Oh, they're all nice to me.
Everybody is nice to you.
Except you.
That's because you gave me a black eye.
Where is my coffee?
The shiner looks bad.
Well, make sure you let them know where you got it.
I will, and then they'll come and arrest your ass.
No, they won't.
Why not?
Big game tomorrow night.
They'll arrest you after the game.
Win tomorrow, district championship next week.
If they find out about me, you'll be fired. I hate sports.
Puts food on your table.
Shut up and look at my face. What do I tell them when they ask me what happened?
Tell them walked in on a black man while shaving.
The politicians that are in office right now don't care what you have to say. They want to know what the Jews have to say. Jew money talks and the politicians listen. They listen to the black lobby because the blacks are organizing.
They listen to the black lobby because the blacks are organizing and they can deliver a lot of votes. Now, if white people organized, we could somehow bring ourselves into a powerful organization under one banner. Then the politicians would have to listen to what we have to say.
So when I got to Dick Phelps' office, I saw all of the business folk were already there, ready and waiting. I wasn't late, so they must have been asked to arrive before me, which got me to thinking, what's going on here? Dick's secretary opened the door and announced.
Dick, Coach Books is here.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Come on in. Good to see you, Xavier.
Good to see you, Mr. Phelps.
Grab a chair. You all know each other?
Of course they all know me. Everybody knows Coach, and I knew them. There was a top doctor in town, the top businesswoman, and the president of the bank. I may not have known all their names, but of course I didn't tell them that. Very nice to see you all again. It's been a while.
Coach,
Morgan. Very nice to see you again.
nice to see you too. Congratulations.
What did I do?
Johnny Red's having another great season.
Land of cotton, old time fair, not forgotten. Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland.
Oh, Rebel!
It's always good when you win more than you lose.
I just draw the X's and O's. The boys do the heavy lifting, Doc.
When's the last game you lost?
Same game every season. Go undefeated all year. Win districts. Draw in defending champion Greensburg in regional playoffs. Get buried, go home, start over again.
Well, we're very proud with what you've been able to accomplish all these years with an undersized, underfunded program.
That's very kind of you, Miss Morgan. But we always lose that big one. Always be remembered for that.
We're just glad you keep turning down all those college offers.
College offers.
Head coaching jobs? That's what everyone says.
Wish I'd known.
These are all very busy people, Xavier, so let me get to the point of this meeting, if I may.
Of course.
As you know, I've taken over as interim mayor since Ed Huffman died last fall.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Bottom line, this is a tough enough job when you're doing it full time, like Ed was. That's probably what killed him. Takes a special man, and Ed was all that. I'm afraid I don't have what it takes.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. You've done a great job under the circumstances.
No, I'm too busy with the real estate business, 6 agents. And I'm helping my son with his shoe business down in Latrobe.
And you have the diner here in town.
And the diner, so let me get to the point of this meeting if I may. Xavier?
Sir.
This town needs more than an interim mayor. And an old one at that. We need new blood, young blood, fresher than any of us have running through our veins. We need a man with...
Or a woman! A woman could do this job. The right woman.
We're not closed to that possibility, Margaret. Now, if you'd let me stay on point, honey.
Sorry, Dick.
As I was saying, we need someone full of pep, someone in good health, someone people respect, someone who can put in the time required to actually...
It had suddenly and unexpectedly entered my head that they were talking about me.
Sorry?
Excuse me?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please, go on.
Well, we need a man, a person, with savvy, with grit, with guts. Someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to keep this town together.
Were they really talking about me to be mayor of Breezywood?
At a time in this country when that's not an easy thing to do.
A lot to this job, and it takes just the right person.
I didn't know what to do, what to say. I mean, this was all coming at me like a zone blitz. Mr. Phelps, you won the primaries, right?
Yeah, and that was a mistake. I should have bowed out long before that.
Now, is someone running against you?
Yeah, a woman named Matthews on the Democrat ticket.
But your name is on the November ballot, right?
Yeah.
I sure wish you'd reconsider, Dick. Just one term.
Sorry, not gonna happen. I want to have a long, peaceful old age. Watch my grandkids grow up.
Some younger folks have expressed an interest in running, but they're new to this town. They're not invested in the town the way they need to be if they're running things.
Right, so we need a man or a woman who has the age to have, be old enough to have gained the life skills and experience that the job demands.
But not so old that we have to worry about finding him keeled over behind his desk.
And they have to have proven leadership capability.
And a winning attitude either in a profession or private business, anything.
And well-liked and equally well-respected in this community.
Well, there was no mistaking their intentions. They wanted me to run for mayor of Breezywood, Pennsylvania.
And long story short, that's why we invited you here today.
Mr. Phelps, Miss Morgan, all of you. I'm honored. I am deeply honored. I don't know what to say.
Nobody knows the up-and-coming generation in this town better than the man who has mentored the brightest and the best of them.
But wait, I don't quite understand.
We compiled a list of all the acceptable candidates.
Potential candidates.
That's right. The younger members of the business community who meet our requirements for this office.
Yeah, you know most of them.
Compiled a list.
Yes, we made a list. There it is.
My name was not on that list.
We even reached out to some of them.
We knew it was going to be a hard sell from the very beginning.
And we knew we needed help making our case to them.
And we suddenly looked at each other and said, Dick, you gotta call that boy of yours Coach Books.
And that's when it hit me. They weren't talking about me running for mayor of Breezywood after all. And I laughed at myself. Like, what was I thinking?
I'm not joking. We're asking you to head the search committee for the Republican candidate for the mayor of Breezywood. I'm asking you to go out and recruit and find a replacement for me, and in a hurry. The election's less than a month off. It'll have to be a write-in vote. All the filing dates have come and gone. But with the right guy running for us, and with the support of these fine people in the business community, we can win this thing. What do you say?
I don't know what to say.
I can't think of anyone who is more important to the kids in this town than you are, Xavier. When I think of your winning spirit and the programs you've been able to manage, including the football team, the wrestling team, the boys and girls track, in spite of the slashing budgets and playing against bigger, richer school districts, the morale you've maintained, the kids you've got into higher education, it's remarkable.
Wonderful.
You should be very proud.
It takes a village, Miss Morgan. Just joking. But still, I still don't understand what you think I can bring to this search that nobody else can.
I'll tell you, Xavier, and I want you to listen. I've seen you in the fourth quarter sidelines in a game that you weren't winning. I've seen you run from player to player, look them square in the eyes and challenge them to play their role in taking back that game from the clutches of defeat. I've seen you grab their face masks and say, "You're the linebacker, man. Are you going to do what a linebacker's supposed to do and win this game?" And the next guy, and you grab his mask and say, "You're the tight end, man. Are you going to do what the tight end's supposed to do and win this game?" And the quarterback and the guard, the tackle, the center. You look at every player on the sideline as a specialist, and you challenge them to do their best, to do their special job. And you shout at them, "You gotta do what you're supposed to do. Are you gonna do what you're supposed to do? And you, to win this game!" And worse, they win that game. It's a gift, Xavier, and not many have it. And now it's time for you to put it to use for the good of this town.
Will you head the search committee, Coach?
Head the search committee.
That's right.
Find someone to run for mayor to replace you.
Election's less than 30 days off. Will you do it?
I'll give it serious thought. And I did. For about the next 10 seconds after I left that meeting. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. Why can't I tell them that I'm my own top choice to run for mayor of Breezywood? But I didn't tell them that. Not now. There's someone I always got to talk to first before I make a big decision. Any decision, really.
The Bible does not say that the black race is bad. To the contrary, it said in the beginning that they were very good. But it specifically forbids race mixing on a sexual basis.
They were very
And it
good.
refers to the product of race
But it
mixing
strictly forbids
as a
race
mamzer
mixing
in
on a
Hebrew,
sexual
or translated
basis.
bastard.
It refers to the product of race mixing as a mamzer in Hebrew, which means bastard or hybrid, something not to be desired. It makes a clear distinction between races. and we feel we must strenuously oppose interracial marriage.
I'm sorry, but I was listening back there and heard you say the Hebrew word mamzer. You're deliberately twisting the meaning of that word. Mamzer refers to a child born of an incestuous or adulterous relationship, not interracial marriage, which is sanctified by God. The word you should have used for yourself is putz.
Thanks, hon. I didn't hear you come in.
Move like a cat for a big man.
Yes, you do. I didn't hear you come in last night either, or leave this morning.
Don't be cute on me.
Stay over at Laura's?
Where else would I stay over?
How is she?
I gave her your love.
Well, that's your business. How'd your meeting go this morning?
Went fine. Nah, it didn't go fine. It pisses me off.
Oh. What happened? Wasn't Dick Phelps there?
The one that called the meeting? Yeah, he was there.
Well, what was it about?
Oh, they're looking for someone to run for mayor. Mr. Phelps doesn't want the job anymore.
So what happened?
What would you say if I decided to run for mayor?
What?
Mayor of Breezywood.
I heard you. Is that what they asked you to do?
No,
Then why do you want to know what I think about it?
because it's what they didn't ask me to.
Why would they ask you to?
Why wouldn't they?
Because you're black?
Exactly.
And why would you want to run for mayor if they didn't ask you? Because you're black.
There's more to it than that, but exactly.
Go for it, hon.
Guess that makes you my campaign manager.
Deal.
Deal. So the next morning, I called down to Mr. Phelps' office to let him know that I had found someone. He sounded surprised, or what I call cautiously happy to hear from me so quickly. I say he also sounded somewhat relieved. I asked him if we could meet somewhere to talk alone. He said that I should come to his diner for lunch, his treat. The diner was the heartbeat, smack in the center of Breezywood. Everybody that could afford a $1.99 breakfast ate there, and he knew them all by name. When I found him, he and his hostess were seated at his favorite table, his very own eagle's nest that afforded him a bird's eye view of every action, transaction, reaction, and interaction that occurred in his feeding territory. And if he didn't see it, Angie made sure he knew about it. Hey, Angie.
Hey, we don't see you out here very much anymore. How are you doing?
Now, Angie was looking real good today. And she was looking at Mr. Phelps like he was looking real good too, but that's none of my business. That's just something I thought you might want to remember later on when you think Mr. Phelps is acting all noble on my behalf. I also thought I should probably skip asking Mr. Phelps how his wife's been lately.
Hey, you sure don't let any grass grow, do you?
Just makes it harder to cut, that's what they say.
Angie, get us some coffee black and a menu for Coach Book.
Oh, aren't you eating? Don't forget about your sugar levels.
Angie, give us a little space, all right? Sit.
Thank you.
Don't you find an old man waiting in suspense.
When you're dealing with the white man, I need for you to be humble.
Didn't take a lot of thought. You said to find someone invested in this town.
Check.
You said a
Do you
man...
want cream in yours? I forgot what you said.
Oh, cream, please. Thank you.
You're saying?
I need for you to be humble and submit to the moment.
You said to find a man or a woman old enough with the life experience and skills that this job demands.
Check.
You said
I brought some sugar packets, but don't let Dick try to steal them.
Sorry, keep going.
But not so old that you could find him killed over on the job.
Check.
Someone that
I
would
forgot your spoon.
Angie, go wait on somebody else, will you? Keep going.
You said someone that was well-liked and respected in this town.
Right. Well, tell me, who is it already? Xavier, who did you pick?
What? Are you talking about who's going to replace you for mayor?
If you're gonna keep interrupting, sit down and try to stay quiet.
And more than that, I need for you to be prepared to be humiliated.
I'm blushing, Mr. Phelps, but you probably can't tell.
Why would you keep blushing? Xavier, what's the joke?
Even when they're wrong.
I picked myself.
For what?
To run for mayor.
To be...
To replace you.
Right! For mayor of Breezywood?
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Angie, go cash out the Eckerts. There's a traffic jam up there.
Okay, but don't say anything until I get back.
Is this a joke on the white man?
Afraid not.
You always used to play a lot of jokes on me when you were little, all the way through college. Like the time we were in that parking lot, I saw that black woman, beautiful ebony skin, high hips, great ass. Pointed her out, and I winked. You put on this fake scowl and you said, "Hey, white man, anybody gonna sleep with my sister? Gonna be me."
No, I never have.
Words to that effect.
Never said that. I never would talk about you like that, Mr. Phelps. Never would.
Okay, so what are we eating?
Angie, give us a minute.
Well, you know you've got to eat something or you're
I
stuck.
said, fuck off, Angie.
Sure, Dick. You just wave when you're ready to order. See how fast I come back.
I don't think I told you what you expected
Well,
to hear.
it took me a little by surprise.
Like my surprise.
I'm sure you'll understand then.
I'm trying.
Well, tell me why I shouldn't be a little taken aback.
Because you know me.
Well, the reason I should be taken aback.
Be upset if I ask you why?
You've always been like a son to me.
Always made me feel like a son.
Have I ever not been there for you?
Never. Not once.
Did I help you and your mother when you were little and couldn't put food on the table? Your natural father run off on you and her and your sister.
Nicest thing anyone ever done?
Did I get you the full scholarship to college?
You greased the wheels, that's for sure.
Greased the wheels! I called up the university president on his home phone. I drove you up there and got you a one-on-one with a football coach when nobody else was interested.
And my heart will always be grateful for that.
And when the job opened up here, I called in a lot of favors to get you that interview. There were a lot of other fellows with a lot more experience than you looking to coach at Breezywood.
It's starting to make me feel like I shouldn't be asking for your blessing to run for mayor.
I don't know what to say.
Look, no need to. I'm eternally humbled and appreciative for everything you've done for me. I should never ask you for anything more. You're better than a father to me. More than a friend. I can never repay you.
Never saw this coming.
Sorry I upset you.
No harm, no foul, Xavier. Let's just pretend we never had this conversation. And forget what we asked you to do. That probably wasn't very fair of us.
No harm, no foul.
So we good, Xavier?
We're good.
Angie! Angie! Where is that girl when you need her?
I gotta go.
What, you're not staying to eat?
Long day ahead of me.
Guess we'll see you around, probably at the football game next weekend.
I'll be there.
Go Rebels!
Thank you, Mr. Phelps.
What makes a black sweat? Not hard work. They're not accustomed to that. The only exertion most blacks make is the trip to pick up their welfare check. They don't sweat when being arrested for a crime against a white person. They're being discriminated against. They don't sweat because of government programs, because most of those programs are geared to their wants and demands.
Because the government programs are geared to their wants and demands. They don't sweat because of schoolwork. We have an educational system that lowers standards so that mentally inferior blacks can pass.
The government gives them everything they want because they say their ancestors were slaves. Well, taking the present day conditions in Africa under consideration, Wouldn't the blacks here be more better off as slaves than running naked and living in mud huts with bones through their noses?
So whenever I need to regroup, get my head back on straight, I come down here to 2nd Street so everyone can tell me how amazing they think I am.
You're an amazing man, Coach.
Only as much as your kid wants to win.
2 more days, Coach.
Don't I know it?
You got a big one Friday night.
Just another game.
All the way this time, Coach.
All the way, Doc. But today, I needed more than stroking. I needed a reality check. So I called Teresa and asked her to meet me.
You look like you've been hit by a truck.
Kinda have.
I love you.
Love you. You like doing this in public, don't you?
I do. Lets everybody know that you're my man. Hands off the big fellow, he's mine.
I'm yours, I just don't need a demonstration.
Do you mind?
No. Remind them who I am, and that I'm not their pet. Roll over and sit when you tell me to.
You been getting lots of puppy strokes out here this afternoon?
That's why I come here. You must think I'm a real fool.
I would never think that. So you never call me out of the office in the middle of the day. How'd your meeting go with Dick Phelps this morning? Not well, I take it?
Reality check. Mr. Phelps always has a way of putting me right.
How'd he get you right today?
Reminding me who I am.
What'd he say? Like these people do?
Coach, I got a lot riding on districts.
Don't we all?
Luke thinks you're the best, Coach.
That looks a great kid. No, Mr. Phelps never let me felt that I was better than I am.
What did he say?
That's what he didn't say. Just gave me this look. It's like this sad look. Disappointed him in his soul look. Like, broke his heart.
Fuck his heart.
Teresa, the wife of a high school coach doesn't use that word in public.
Fuck the public, fuck Dick Phelps.
Don't say that. Look, he just set me straight. I had to get my eyes back on the road, and the road isn't through City Hall. It's just not for me.
Why not for you? What's so wrong with you setting your eyes on helping run the city?
Just a coach.
You've done that. Now this town needs you for something else.
Stepping out of my turf.
This turf belongs to you just as much as it belongs to Dick Phelps and his old white male cronies.
It hurts to hear you say that.
It hurts me that you let what he thinks of you change your mind for you. This town needs someone like you.
Which part? Like the amazing man or the amazing coach?
The black part.
Even though they don't like me.
Fuck what they think of you. You're running for mayor of Breezywood.
Never won an argument against Teresa before, and I wasn't gonna win this one. So I looked down one side of the street, turned and looked the other way.
Coach, you should be looking up plays.
Should be.
What do you think, Coach?
I think we got a big game coming up.
Praying for you Friday night, Coach.
These are all the prayers I can get. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's do this.
But I'm sick and tired of my taxpayers and all you people out there pay taxes, money being given to the minority who doesn't want to work, who wants to live on welfare.
It's been generation after generation. Because they have no initiative. They have no self-esteem. Well, that's not my fault. And it's not your fault, bud. You give equal rights to all these minorities. Hey, give us equal rights. Where are our equal rights? You know, our ancestors were the ones who came to this country.
I couldn't put much time or effort into running a campaign at that moment. Remember, I had a district championship football game to prepare for. And no way would I get elected in this town if we lost that game after winning it the last 11 years in a row. So I put it on my wife to get the mayoral race in gear. First thing Teresa did was call down to the County Board of Elections. Nobody answered. So she left a message letting them know exactly what she needed and why. Turns out that was our first mistake, but not the worst. Teresa's boss called her into his office later that afternoon.
Yeah, Vic.
Sit down, Terry.
Oh, okay. Something wrong.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, something I did?
Well, I don't know whose bright idea it was, but yeah, it is something you did.
Am I in trouble?
That depends.
Well, what'd I do?
So he told her that he had learned about her inquiries with the County Board of Elections. Teresa was a little bit surprised by that, seeing that she had just left a message a couple hours ago and nobody called her back. But they did appear to call her boss. Not saying that that was a red flag, but it was a little unsettling.
You know that we have a clause in your contract that forbids you to run for public office while you're a member of the firm.
I do know that.
Then why are you making inquiries about it?
I would say that's personal and private, wouldn't you?
Nothing that you do that casts this firm in a negative light is personal and private.
How does my calling the County Board of Elections cast this firm in a bad light?
Do you have any idea how damaging an accusation of conflict of interest would be to the firm?
If I'm not running for office, where's the conflict of interest?
Is your husband running?
You must already believe that he is, or we wouldn't be having this little meeting.
No, I didn't, not till a moment ago.
Where are you going with this, Vic?
So he handed her the contract, and there it was in fine print. And not only she couldn't run for office, but she couldn't actively campaign for anyone else running for office. So he said to her,
I need to know right this moment if you're campaigning for your husband.
Teresa thought about that for a long time. I think you've seen enough of her to know exactly what she told him. I'm not letting you give up your career over me running for an election that I can't win anyway. Even if I could win, I'm not letting you give up your career.
You got me so steamed! He knows I'd never create a conflict of interest.
You signed the contract. You gave your word.
He's let other associates work on campaigns.
Who?
Dick Phelps, for one.
I guess conflict comes in different colors.
That's why I have to quit.
And that's why you have to go back in and apologize and ask for your job back.
I can't.
You can, and you will. Listen, you love your job. You've earned a right to it. So you march back in there, you swallow your pride, and say you're sorry. I think she was secretly relieved to know that I felt that way. So she went back into the office, said she was sorry, and he refused to accept her apology or give her job back. So when she came home later that night, she was pretty upset. And when she saw me smile, she got even more angry.
What are you smiling for? You're the one who made me go back in there and make a fool of myself. And guess what? It didn't work. Still fired. You better believe he's gonna put the word out to the Bar Association as well.
Smiling because I got this. And I did. So next day I'm sitting in my office, drawing X's and O's. And Vic Morris calls me on the phone.
Coach Books, Vic Morris here. I want to talk to you about what happened with Terry. You there? Now, I'm not sure how to say this. I don't want to imply anything or accuse you of anything, but I don't want any of this to impact Tori.
So I need to let you know, Tori is Vic Morris' son. Pain in the ass. Expects preferential treatment. Hard to handle when he doesn't get it. And he's the quarterback on my football team.
Do I need to say anything more?
No, sir.
Tori's earned the right to play in the title game. Lots of small colleges are going to be out there scouting that game. It would probably be grounds for a civil suit of some magnitude if you were to switch quarterbacks because I dismissed your wife from her job.
No doubt about it.
Right? Just so we understand one another.
No, we don't, but no need to.
What I mean is that Terry violated her contract by handling your campaign.
Understood.
And it was just a business decision, nothing personal.
Was it?
I have all the respect in the world for Terry's skills.
All the respect?
Yes, I do.
In the world?
This is not funny.
Isn't?
No, it is not. Just so we understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can assure me that Tori will not suffer because of my dismissing your wife.
Rest assured.
Thank you, Coach Brooks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Morris. Oh, one more thing before I let you go. There's something that I need to talk to you about.
What? What's that?
Tori was late for practice Monday.
Practice? Monday?
15 minutes late.
Monday. He had an orthodontist appointment, I believe.
Yeah, he told me that. And he showed me the excuse.
So, what of it?
Violation of his agreement.
What agreement?
Agreement every player signs to play football for me.
I don't know anything about any agreement.
Mother signed it. I have a copy right here.
He had a doctor's excuse. That's all he needs.
Would you like me to read it to you?
Probably isn't even a legal document.
It is.
How would you know what is and is not a legal document?
Teresa drew it up for me.
Read it to me.
If a player misses or is late to a scheduled practice, scheduled game, or scheduled team meeting for any reason that has not been approved in advance by Coach Books, that player may be suspended at Coach Books' discretion.
He had an excuse.
Did.
You're not crazy enough to suspend him from the championship game.
It's in the agreement signed by Tori's mom.
I'll get an injunction.
Injunction what? Postpone the game?
Oh.
I don't think so.
This town will...
Will what, Mr. Morris? What do you got in mind? So I wanted him to think that I was crazy enough to do it. Even though never in a million years would I deprive a child's chance in playing in the championship game just because I had a grudge against one of his parents.
I'll sue you.
Got a good lawyer at home, looking for work.
I'll remember this.
I hope so. Take Teresa back. No hard feelings.
Tell her to come in the morning, tomorrow.
Water under the bridge.
And Tori plays Friday night.
We'll see how things go tomorrow before I fill out the roster. How's that sound?
There will be no problem with Teresa.
That's all I ask. Oh, and one more thing.
What?
Can I count on your vote in November? So Tori played that night, and he played well, and we won the game. But first, I let Vic Morris know who was the boss in this town, the real boss, by not announcing my starting lineup until exactly 1 hour before kickoff. Keep him on the edge of his bleacher seat, make him think I really was crazy. Now, I had 2 weeks before the championship game in Greensburg. You know, the one we never won, or I had any more chance of winning this year than me getting elected mayor. So I thought I would do the usual practice schedule, but instead of studying film all day Sunday, I'd actually put some time and effort into running for mayor. Now, Mr. Phelps said that anyone put forth would have to be a write-in candidate because it was past all the filing deadlines to be put on the ballot as a party candidate. So I went online to do some research about being a write-in candidate. And what I found was that my state was one of the states that allowed write-in candidates in the first place. I also found that I could stand outside of the polling place and hand out little cards that told them exactly what to do when they got in the booth to vote for a write-in candidate, exactly how to spell out my name, and exactly what buttons to push. So I read further to see how well write-in candidates usually do. That part wasn't too encouraging. They never win. Well, I shouldn't say never. There was a senator, a woman, a Republican, who recently was elected as a write-in candidate. So I did some research to see what her strategy was, because it had to be a good one if it got her elected. I found her strategy was that she was the daughter of the governor of that state, and the governor was a former senator of that state, and they were both supported by the pipeline industry that ran through that state. Oh, and she was also white. But hey, I said to myself, if she can do it, so can I.
You know, this country was founded by white men, was built by white men, was defended by white men, and is maintained by white men. and there's nothing wrong with being proud that you're white, because I believe in the white race.
I believe in the white race. I believe in Christianity. I believe in patriotism. I believe in the United States of America. Now, if that's being a bigot, I'm a bigot.
So first thing I needed to do was to get the word out that I was running for office. I might have put a big ad in the local newspaper, but I couldn't afford it. And if I belonged to a political party, I guess I could have asked them to put up a big billboard. But I was independent, no party backing. So I got out my cards and started walking. My plan, if you want to call it that, was just to walk up to every person that I saw and hand them my card. And it started off promising.
Hey, Coach, you're giving them a run for their money this year.
We try. Hey, can I give you one of my cards?
Yeah. What's this?
I'm running for Mayor Breezywood.
Mayor Breezywood. Okay. Good luck Saturday.
Good luck Saturday. Thanks.
Coach!
Miss Morgan! How's that boy of yours?
Doing great. Coming in for the big one Saturday.
I wish we had him on the field. We could use him Saturday.
Oh, he always asks about you, Coach.
Hey, can I give you one of these?
What's this? Card? You're running for mayor? Sure.
Next house was Miss Madison, a mother of one of my kids from some time back. Thought she would wave, but instead she started walking toward the back of her house. Still moved like a cat, so I cut her off at the chase. Miss Madison!
You startled me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
I didn't know it was you at first. Taking a stroll?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I've started my first political campaign.
Political campaign?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you running for?
So I handed her my card. Says it right there.
Mayor? Oh, you're not running against Dick Phelps.
Oh, we're not sure if he's running yet. Last I heard, he's thinking of retirement.
Why on earth would you want to run for mayor?
Now that was a good question. You know, Teresa and I bantered about that back and forth, but I don't think we ever came up with a good, solid answer. You know, I lived in this town my whole life, and I've enjoyed the fruits of it. But I don't think I've ever had a hand in how to keep it running. It's time I corrected that.
You've done a lot for this town. Why would you put it all on the line just to be mayor of a little town like Breezywood?
Well, it's the only town I got.
Well, I'm not one to give anyone advice, but don't do it. I mean, please, for your own sake and for Teresa, don't do it.
Thank you for being so forthright, Miss Madison. Now, give it some thought. So the next house was an older man that I didn't know by sight or by name. He was staring at me from behind his mower. And he didn't look like he was going to stop it as I approached. Howdy, sir. My name is Xavier Books, a coach over at the high school. Man just kept staring at me. I wanted to meet the folks in this town and let them know I was running for mayor in the upcoming election. The man just continued to stare. So if you had any questions about me or my running for mayor, I could answer them. Or you can call that number here, or you can write to me and I'll address any of your concerns. The man just kept staring. So I extended him my card, but he didn't move a muscle. Okay, sir, well, have a nice day, sir. Now, I'm a stranger to some folks in this town. A big stranger. A big black stranger. What did I expect? The next house was an older man sitting on his porch. So I walked up to his sidewalk and called to him. How do you do? How do? Very good, thank you.
Something I can do for you?
The man didn't get out of his chair. As a matter of fact, there is. I wanted to give you one of my cards.
What for?
I'm running for mayor in the upcoming election for Breezywood.
You're what?
I'm running for mayor
Get
of
the
Breezywood.
hell off of my property!
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to disturb you.
I said get the hell going now!
Yes, sir. Have a nice day, sir. I was starting to think that this was a bad idea. I mean, not just coming to this side of town, but this whole idea that I could run for office. And then things got even worse.
When the police stop you, I need for you to be polite and respectful. And you keep your damned mouth shut.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Freddie.
You keep your hands in plain sight. And you don't make no sudden movements.
Nice afternoon.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Wrong neighborhood, though.
And you keep the words you got growing inside you to yourself. You keep your body language sweet and low, and you don't show no emotions.
I thought you'd be glued to your iPad watching film for next week's game.
Well, we can study all the film that we want, but the boys still got to work hard every snap, refuse to lose. That's all we can do.
Got a complaint about you.
Complaint?
What'd I just tell you?
Yep.
About what?
Complaint about disturbing the peace.
Peace seems pretty undisturbed to me. Did you hear those birds sing?
This is serious.
Listen, birds don't sing when they're disturbed. They squawk.
Cut it out.
I don't hear any birds squawking to you.
I said cut it out.
Man, this is ridiculous.
I know it is. Don't make it worse. You know how some people get.
Look, I'm just trying to get the word out that I'm running for mayor.
Well, that right there might disturb some people in this town enough to call the police and complain.
Yeah, appears it might.
What do you want to do that for anyway? You got it good at the high school. Better than my job.
You don't want to run for mayor, trust me. Beginning to think you're right.
They're never going to elect you mayor of Breezywood.
You don't think? I mean, BMOC, coach of the year.
That only matters on Friday nights.
What makes you so sure of that?
You couldn't even get elected Dogcatcher in this town.
But what if we win regionals?
You're never going to win regional. We already know that. Even if you did, ain't nobody going to vote for a black man to be mayor of this place.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe. I'm just trying to shake things up.
Well, you're off to a good start.
Sad.
It's only sad because you act like you don't already know it. You've always known it.
Yeah. Always known it. Forgot for a minute. You reminded me. Thanks, Freddie. I think I'll go study some film.
Good idea. Oh, maybe I'll bring a cooler. Watch it with you.
You can't bring a cooler on school grounds. You know that. It's against the law. You don't want me getting accused of breaking any laws.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. Well, season ends in a week. We'll drink then.
We will.
See you Saturday in Greensburg. Oh, unless you want to drive up together.
Gotta ride the team bus. Keep my eye on them white kids every minute.
Good point. See you there.
See you there. Oh, Freddie!
What's this?
It's my card. It shows you how to vote me in for mayor on the ballot in November.
Are you serious?
Never been more serious in my life. See you at the game Saturday.
The races are different. Nobody can say that we are equal. There are going to be differences in intelligence. The statistics tell it. Look at the SAT test, the GED, whatever.
The GEDs, whatever. The differences are there. They said the differences are in the schools not being integrated. Now schools are integrated and there's still a difference. They're going to talk the same thing, so where's the problem? If you look at a broad-based opinion across the country and across the world, the whites are going to be more intelligent than blacks.
Hey, can I give you one of my cards?
Yeah. What's this?
I'm running for mayor of Breezywood. If I was worried about word getting out about my running for election,
You're running for mayor?
I needn't have to.
Mayor? Oh, you're not running against Dick Phelps.
You're what? I'm running for mayor of
Get the
Breezywood.
hell off of my property!
Later that night, I got a message from the superintendent of the high school letting me know that I needed to report to her office first thing Monday morning, like I was a green recruit. When I entered the office, the school superintendent was on her phone. She didn't look toward me or wave me toward a chair. It was like I wasn't even there. So I sat down without an invitation. That got her attention.
Can I call you back? Thanks. Bye. Coach Books.
Dr. Brinkley.
Need coffee?
No, but please, go ahead.
We have a problem here, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it before it goes any further.
What problem do we have, if you don't mind me asking?
I think you know.
I do not.
Are you running for mayor?
I'm thinking about it.
That's it? Just thinking about it?
It takes a lot of thinking.
I imagine it would. May I ask what made you think about it?
You met.
Well,
I thought I'd try to do something for someone else other than myself for once, instead of just for me.
I don't understand.
What part don't you understand, Dr. Brinkley?
Don't you have to be pretty sure of yourself in order to run for public office?
I'm not sure. I never did it before.
Then why all of a sudden?
Civic duty. That's how I think of it now. My civic duty.
You're already doing your civic duty here at the school.
Coaching football, track, and wrestling? That's my job. Comes easy. Never thought of it as my civic duty.
All the staff here think that what you're doing is a great public service.
As long as I'm winning, perhaps.
We usually do seem to win.
Not the big one, though.
Nobody cares about that.
I care.
The reality is that you are a public servant, whether you like it or not.
What are you trying to say to me, Dr. Brinkley?
Okay. Cards on the table?
Cards on the table.
This mayoral race.
Not really a race. This is more like me chasing a bus I missed.
Nice metaphor. Then you already know you can't catch the bus.
Probably right.
Then why bother chasing it?
Why not? I mean, the same reason we play Greensburg every season for regionals. Get our butts whipped. You still gotta see who wins the game.
I'm not going to play this game with you. If you're trying to stir things up around here, well, you're doing it. But it is my job to make sure that the staff in this school district maintain themselves in a professional, respectful, and appropriate manner.
I'm dumbfounded.
You signed the contract when you joined the staff at Breezywood Area School District?
I did. Brought it along with me. Seems I can't go anywhere these days without some contract. Why is that? Help me understand where I stand. Where exactly do I stand?
Your running for public office could be seriously disruptive to the ability to run the teams in this school.
Good, if I let it. Won't matter.
How can you be sure it won't be?
How can you be so sure it will? Miss Coates, the arts teacher, she's been on town council now for 6 years. Still works here last I saw.
That's different.
Separate but equal? Is that what you're saying?
She's a council person. Council meets once every 2 weeks. The mayor position is a full-time...
Part-time, actually. Because we weren't talking about me serving as mayor, we're talking about me running for mayor. Big difference.
Coach Books, may I be frank?
I want you to be.
What is this all about? Why would you, after 10 years in this job, want to change professions and go into politics?
I told you already. Why is that hard for you and everyone else to accept?
Because you can't possibly win.
I don't know that for sure.
The best you can do is cause a disruption.
Wow, I'm moving up. Yesterday I caused a disturbance. Tomorrow might be a riot. At this point, I might just...
You could be terminated.
Got it.
Check your contract.
Did. Well, Teresa did last night. My wife, lawyer.
Then she knows that you could be terminated on grounds of...
On grounds of inappropriate contact with a student. on grounds of incompetent performance, on grounds of repeated neglect of his or her duty, on grounds of conduct that materially interferes with the continued performance of his or her duties, such as drinking or drugs or losing too many games in a row.
My favorite is, a teacher may be terminated for cause.
Read that one, for cause. So what cause could you possibly have for firing me? Please tell me it's cause I'm running for public office.
The cause could be budgetary. It could be a change in the school policy. It could be a reduction in the workforce.
It could also be discrimination. I'm not quitting this race. I spent so much time defending it that I haven't even had a chance to get started. But the more pushback that I'm getting from you and folks like yourself, the more I'm thinking I gotta see this thing through.
I have a great deal of respect for you as coach.
But not so much for me as a man, do you?
I hope you have a change of heart before next week.
What's next week? Oh, yeah. You mean it wouldn't be good to find cause this week because of the big game on Saturday. But next week, you'll be in the clear because the season will be over with plenty of time to find my replacement.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. You just didn't hear it. My phone is not my friend. It rings at all hours of the day and night. It started right after that meeting with Dick Phelps at the diner. You know, sometimes it was the usual calls like Teresa just calling on me, asking me to pick up this or that, or just checking in with me to see how my day was going. Or sometimes it was one of my kids from the team, asking me questions about practice or trying to get help scoring tickets for Saturday's big game. But mostly, it was hang-up calls or people calling from unknown numbers that would listen but not say anything once I answered. But the worst call I received was a call from Lori asking me not to come around anymore. You know, Lori grew up with a mother who never quite fit in anywhere. I think Lori inherited that. Didn't trust people. Never felt liked by anyone. I don't know if she was just imagining that or if it was real. You know, I think sometimes if you imagine something that painful, it is real. What do you mean don't come around anymore? What brought this on?
Aren't you terrified?
Terrified of what?
Of what they could do to you.
What who could do to me?
These people, they keep calling me.
What people? What are you talking about?
They hang up as soon as they pick up, or they don't say anything, or if they do say
Listen,
something,
if you don't recognize the number, just hang it. Don't answer.
It doesn't stop.
Put a block on unknown numbers.
You're not listening. I'm terrified.
Why? Don't be.
Oh, okay, don't be. I don't know anybody in this town.
You know me.
What have you done for me?
Nothing. Just trying to make up for lost ground, I guess.
I don't think you should come around anymore.
Why?
I don't feel safe. I think I feel safe for people to see you coming and going.
Listen, we've already been through that. Nobody's gonna see me coming and going.
That was before.
Before what?
Before this.
When?
When I came home from work.
Today?
Yes, today. I can't help it. I can't stop shaking.
Just come here. Just calm down, baby.
That's easy for you to say.
It's not so easy. It's just the way it is. All right? It doesn't help to fall to pieces.
I can't help it. I'm terrified.
Me too. Does that help?
No.
See? I told you.
Don't try to make me laugh.
Not like it'll work anyway.
Are you staying for dinner?
No. I gotta go. Am I welcome back?
Your house.
But you're living in it. Make it yours. Am I welcome back?
I love you.
I love you too, baby.
Say hello to Teresa.
I will. She'll like that.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
A if I want to associate with somebody, I believe under the Constitution, the right of non-association is dear as the right of association. I'm not going to become upset if a black moves into my all-white community where I live, but certainly I
But certainly I prefer he not, because I don't intend on moving into an all-black community in the center city. If I want to associate with somebody, under the Constitution, I believe that the right of non-association is as dear as the right of association. That's the problem with this country. Even the blacks say the race problem in this country is the government's fault. They force white and black together. And the majority of the whites and the blacks don't want to be together.
So Wednesday night in Breezywood is the Businessmen's Association bowling night. They have a league of store owners, bankers, and self-anointed community leaders. I hear some of them are pretty good. I wouldn't know. I mean, I never bowled myself. But I didn't go there that night to bowl. And when their eyes turned toward me as I walked in, it wasn't to tell me how great of a coach they thought I was. This was more like, who invited him here? Like a club atmosphere for white folks. You know, bowling and black men never seemed to be a good mix. You think I'm kidding? I mean, most bowling alleys didn't allow blacks on their lanes until about 20 years after Jackie Robinson was integrated into Major League Baseball. You think bowling seems pretty harmless, don't you? Until you hear that in 1968, South Carolina Highway Patrol officers fired into a peaceful crowd of 200 students that had assembled at South Carolina State University to protest the segregation of the local bowling alley, the All-Star Triangle Bowl. Big neon sign out front, red, white, and blue with stars on it. The police killed 3 protesters and wounded 27 in what became known as the Orangeburg Massacre. All of the officers were acquitted. One of the protesters that was shot, Cleveland Sellers, was sentenced to 7 months in prison. The governor of the state of South Carolina pardoned him 25 years later. And there I was, busting in on the Breezywood Businessmen's Bowling Bash. Hey, Mr. Phillips!
Jesus Christ! Xavier, funny seeing you here.
Listen, I need to talk now.
I'm in the middle of a game. Is this important? Of course it is. Why don't I meet you at the diner after?
Talk now.
What's this about?
Come on, Dick.
Coach should be drawing up plays, expects to beat Greensburg. Yeah, Coach, let Dick finish his turn. You're holding up the game for everybody.
Excuse me. I gotta roll this ball.
Not until you take a look at this present I received.
Jesus Christ. Who did this?
I was hoping you could tell me.
You crazy? You think I have something to do with something like this, do you?
Crazy things have been happening to me ever since I met you at that diner 2 weeks ago.
What kind of crazy thing?
Doesn't matter. It's happening.
I don't like to be accused of something I didn't do.
Just tell me.
I didn't have anything to do with this. I hope you understand that. Where did you get it?
Doesn't matter. What matters is that was sent to deliver a message.
I guess it was. I'm really sorry this happened, Xavier. I hope you believe that.
So what are you gonna do?
What do you want me to do?
Take it to the police.
It'd probably be more if you took it.
The police work for you, and you don't want me to find the son of a bitch that did this.
Xavier, you don't want to start that kind of ruckus.
So you're blaming me now?
No, definitely not. It's just the biggest game of the year is coming up. You don't want to ruin the weekend for everybody just because of some stupid prank that doesn't even deserve a dignified response.
Stupid prank? That's what you're calling that?
Hey, don't you have some coaching to do?
Greensburg's got your number, Coach.
Kids need practice. They don't want to get crushed Saturday night.
This is the big one, Coach.
Coach never won the big one. Not like it's going to happen this year.
That one got to.
Listen, you look at me, Xavier Books. You look at me. When people act a fool at you, you don't act a fool back at them. You stay calm and in control inside here. And no matter how mad you get, you stay in control of your words. You keep control of your body language. And you keep control of your emotions.
Got it, Granny. Got it.
Look, Xavier, I'm holding up a lot. Let me look into this. Promise, get to the bottom of it.
Stared at him for a long time. You know I'm running against you now for mayor, right, Mr. Phelps?
So I hear.
I'm gonna go at it now with everything I got.
Xavier, please, be smart about this.
Never been smarter.
What do you hope to accomplish? Nobody ever wins a write-in vote unless they have a lot of money and a lot of support. You don't have either.
Got a card. Here, take it.
Xavier, I got a bowl.
The way I blow off steam is I work my boys like plow horses. They run sprints. They pull truck tires. They carry water boys up and down the bleacher steps on their shoulders. And then to cool them off, we run around the campus 6 or 7 times. And then we run our plays. And we run them over and over again, through the part where they're new, to the part where they know them, but they're getting tired, through to the part where I see them, wanting to do them better, to run them till they're perfect, but we don't run them till they're perfect. I tell them to shower and go home. We say perfect for the game. So we boarded the team buses and headed to Greensburg after school Friday afternoon. We had a light workout on the field on Saturday morning, and then we rested. And now I'll tell you what happened Saturday afternoon. It rained. It rained hard. It probably started raining about noon and then started to taper off about 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. At that point, the field was a swamp. The ball was a slippery fish, and we had a 3-touchdown lead, all off of turnovers on their side of the field. And I know what they said. It rains on both sides of the field. Well, good teams don't play good when it's wet and muddy. You know, Greensburg, they were bigger, they were meaner, they were stronger, but we were just better at holding on to the ball and keeping our feet under us. It's that simple. We whipped the pants off of Greensburg that day. And for the first time in history, the Breezywood Rebels were going to the state finals.
With Marta Show at WBHP Channel 10 in Pittsburgh. Am I speaking with, is it Xavier Books? With Marta Show at WBHP Channel 10 in Pittsburgh. Am I speaking with, is it Xavier Books?
They're calling from Pittsburgh. The television news people. I mean, the only television people ever called me was the local company, threatening to cut off my cable bill account of it being late. So I told her how to pronounce my name politely and asked how I could help her.
I read about your football team winning the regional championship last weekend, and we'd like to do a feature story about that and about the upcoming state championship game, what, in 2 weeks?
Wow. Now, won't the boys be excited about that? I mean, Pittsburgh is like London to people in Breezywood. The only time we take the track downstate is if we won tickets to the Steelers game, or if you could afford health coverage to have medical care at UNP of Shadyside. Or if you were one of my kids that won a track or football scholarship at Duquesne or Carnegie Mellon. You never returned for some reason, although I did for some reason. Well, Miss Eichenwald, we'd be happy to be featured on your show.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, what we'll do is follow you and your team around as you run through your paces in preparation for the big game. Is that agreeable to you?
Yes, and I'm very flattered, but it seems that I have a lot on my plate these days, and I'm not sure I can guarantee you the time you might be looking for.
I fully understand, but we're pretty good about staying out of the way.
Did she just say that? TV news crews staying out of the way?
Oh, and we'll just film as much as we can. It's a terrific human interest story. Small town David slays Greensburg Goliath and takes on Godzilla.
John Harris won the last 6 years in a row. You might want to do your story on them instead.
No, that's old news. We definitely want to focus on the rebels.
You want to see a black sweat? Just show him a picture of a rogue Klansman. The Klan is the only thing that scares a black, because they know that pound for pound and inch for inch, there is no black who can match a dedicated Klansman spiritually, mentally, or physically, and are not afraid of the government or press to defend our rights, our women, our children, and our white brothers and sisters. They sing, "We shall overcome." We say, "Like hell you will."
And so they swept into town. Normally I try to stay low-key, stay under the radar. But this seemed good coming as it did at a time when things were a little tense around here. Beating Greensburg brought some goodwill, to be sure.
No one better say you can't win the big one, Coach.
They better not!
Great game, Coach!
Just drawing X's and O's, Freddie.
Woo-wee, was that a good game?
Oh, it was all that.
You always get this when you walk through town.
Depends on where I'm walking.
Well, I bet winning has something to do with it.
Always.
And you win a lot.
I win a lot, but never this big.
Hey, Coach, keep your eye on John Harris.
Hey, pray for rain, Carl.
Hey, now don't let this man nonsense distract you from beating John Harris High School.
I'll try not to. Hey, here's my card. Shows you how to write me in.
What's this? Xavier Books, write-in candidate for mayor of Breezywood. You're also running for mayor.
Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Now, not so sure.
This has suddenly become a much bigger story.
Why is that? I mean, Breezywood is still Breezywood.
I mean, don't you see it? Really?
Fill me in.
Underdog coach in the state championship football game is also underdog candidate for mayor of his town.
What's so crazy about that underdog label?
Look at me, Xavier. Watch my lips move. Black underdog coach. Black underdog candidate.
Especially not crazy about the black label.
Yeah, well, we'll fix that.
She never fixed that.
I'll think of something catchy.
She never did.
Now just hold on a second. I need to call our news director. This is about to become something more than a slow news day human interest story.
Well, hold on. No disrespect, but look, I'm not sure I want this story getting any bigger than it's already gotten.
I hate to break it to you, Coach, but stories like this take on a life of their own. And when it's a story this good, it's going to get told whether we like it or not.
And you're saying by blowing this story up will help me more than it can hurt me?
Yes, and it's also going to help me.
A new dawn is breaking upon Breezywood, Pennsylvania, a small town of a little more than 9,000 mostly white citizens. It hails a branch bank, a CVS pharmacy, 2 diners, an Arby's fast food restaurant, a Dunkin' Donuts, and 3 traffic lights, one of which was flashing, its middle yellow eye blinkering like the fluttering wings of a butterfly, or perhaps a warning as we drove this morning 100 miles from Pittsburgh International Airport for a unique collection campaign between 3 candidates. Richard Phelps, who is the current mayor of Breezywood, Louise Matthews, who is the only female running for office, and last but certainly not least, the beloved high school football coach Xavier Books, who happens to be black, and in addition to running for mayor, is also practicing his team for the upcoming state championship game to be held just 4 days after the election. All this in a town that has never before elected a person of color to any public office. And this contest is not without its controversies.
All lives may matter, but black mayors in small western Pennsylvania towns don't seem to. None has ever been elected west of Harrisburg, the state capital, but a heretofore undistinguished small-time high school football coach is wagering his skin color won't matter, as long as his team of diminutive underdogs keeps winning. Xavier Books never won a big game until his Johnny Rebs beat perennial state champion contender Greensburg last Saturday, launching them into the state title district game against odds-on favorite Cougars of John Harris High School, 6 times defending champions. Books never even took the trouble to try to get on the ballot. Banking on his success on the gridiron has both his only qualifications for office, as well as his best campaign strategy as a write-in candidate.
Marta told me that this would happen. Every day become a daily soap opera. Every day, 5 or 6 news crews were combing the streets, sniffing out every story about me to find out if the stories were true or not.
How proud will you be if Xavier Books is your mayor after Tuesday's election?
Oh, I'd be mighty proud. That man has put Breezywood on the map. I ain't never seen nothing like it.
So you'll be happy if Coach Books is elected?
I'll be happier if he beats John Harris. I don't pretty much care who becomes mayor.
What do you think of a man who thinks he's fit to be mayor of Breezywood based solely upon his success in sports?
I don't think sports makes you qualified to be a mayor. No, I don't.
What if he wins the state championship? Would you want him to be your mayor then?
Oh, well, I'd have to think about that.
Most states don't allow write-in candidates. Do you think Pennsylvania should consider banning this practice in future elections?
Well, I don't think they should be allowed to write names in on the ballot.
His name's not on the ballot.
That's what I said. Shouldn't be allowed.
They're asking you to write his name on the ballot as the person you want to be your next mayor.
I ain't gonna write in no names. I don't vote anyway.
A great many organizations in America are supposedly dedicated to improve society, but most are not willing to tell you their true platform. What commitments have they made? What have they done to better society? The Ku Klux Klan, even though ridiculed and condemned, has been in existence 125 years. Not many organizations can boast this fact. The Klan has had 4 members who served as President of the United States, one of which was sworn in on his knees in the White House. We must be doing something right, where the concerned white Christians hope for the future.
Marta was just one of a bunch of news crews now. But she seemed to have my best interest at heart. She wasn't looking for anything sensational. She was just following me around, not getting in the way, quietly recording the parallel events between politics and football leading up to the election. And then someone came up with this crazy idea to set up a televised debate between all of the candidates. Dick Phelps, Miss Matthews, and myself. I asked Marta if she thought it was a good idea.
You know that old adage, no publicity is bad publicity?
I guess.
Well, it's a lie. Think Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. I mean, they all got a lot of publicity the last few years. Do you need me to go on?
No, I don't need you to go on. So, it's a bad idea for me to do the debate?
Oh, no, you have to do the debate. But you can't just do it and think it will automatically help. It might help, but it could also destroy your life.
Maybe if I was R. Kelly or Jeffrey Epstein, but I'm not.
I'm sure you're not. But any little thing you say or do, or anything you've ever said or done that can be pulled out of the attic and dusted off and exposed in some lurid, sensational way.
There isn't anything like that.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Really sure. Don't keep it from me.
I'm really sure.
I mean, if there's the slightest hint of anything, it'll be twisted.
There's nothing to twist.
Well, fabricated then. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear. And doesn't that also go for my opponents too?
Nobody cares about your opponents. Nobody's here to find dirt on your opponents. You're a black man running for mayor in a part of a swing state that has never elected a black man to office. This is David versus Goliath Mayberry style. And just so we're clear about this, you're not Goliath.
So what do I do? She looked at me for a long minute. She seemed to be struggling with making a decision.
Are you really serious about winning this election?
What do you mean?
I mean, is this just a joke you're playing on the town fathers? Those rich, old, white businessmen and women yanking their chain a little, knowing that as long as you keep winning football games, they have to play along with what you're doing.
Honest?
Honest.
Yeah, a little.
Right answer. Because if you said that wasn't part of it, I'd send the crew back home in Pittsburgh and me with it.
That isn't the biggest part.
What is it?
So you asking me for your interview now, or you trying to help?
Both.
Good. Because if you told me that interviewing me for your show wasn't part of your motive, I would have packed up my bags and gone home too. So you want to know why I'm running? I guess it's because I'm confident in my abilities to put together a team that can win, both on the field and in this town. This town hasn't been winning anything but football for a long time. I mean, look at all of those boarded up storefronts, all of those rusty rain gutters, busted up sidewalks that you can barely walk on without breaking an ankle. I think I can fix that, but not myself. But as the man that's running a team of folks in this town that will fix it.
Did you get that? You better be filming. Why aren't you filming?
Does that make any sense to you while I'm running?
Except you left out the big part of it.
Race?
Race. When you stand up there on that debate stage, they're gonna come at you with every race card and a marked deck.
Who's that?
Us, the news media.
Even you?
Well, of course, even me. Oh, don't be fooled by a pretty smile, Coach. I'm on duty 24/7. I'll find a promising lead, I'll follow it underwater if I have to. Well, I like you. And I'd be tickled black if you want. I don't know if you're qualified to be mayor of this place or why you would want to be, but you're a good man, and this is a great story. What happens here over the next 10 days is going to make or break this town. I can feel that in my cold, gray heart. And I want to be here when that happens.
Which part? To make it or to break it?
I don't care. It's a great story either way.
Nice to know where you stand on things.
Look, do you want my help?
I'm dying for somebody's help. Because I don't know anything about how the city works, and I don't have time to learn it, and also put together a plan for this football game in 2 weeks.
You don't have to know anything.
Well, how am I supposed to answer a question if I don't know the answer?
Off the top of my head, I can think of 30 ways to answer questions without answering.
Give me 5. That's all I can handle. Fire away. Make me sound smart.
You sound smart by not sounding stupid.
How do I do that?
Well, if someone asks you a question that you don't want to answer, what do you do?
Pretend I don't hear it?
You ignore the question, right?
I do that every time a dad gets in my face about his kids' playing time.
Well, you got one right. Congratulations. So what's the next way you deal with the question that you don't want to answer?
I thought you were helping me.
Very good. You just did it, only you didn't know it.
What did I do?
You acknowledged the question without giving me an answer.
I did, didn't I? I'm pretty good at this.
No.
Maybe I don't need any help.
If someone asks you a question that you don't want to answer or can't, you just take a moment, say you want to answer it, but you've got to talk about this other thing first. And then you never get back to the original question.
Check.
Another thing. Refuse to answer the question.
But won't that make me sound dumb if I don't know the answer?
Well, not as dumb as you'll sound if you give a wrong answer. If you don't know the answer, don't give one. Not a direct one, anyway.
So what do I say?
Well, you deflect the answer. Say, I guess you'll just have to wait and see. Or if I ask you what you're going to do your first 90 days in office, what do you say?
No idea.
Instead of saying what you're going to do, you say what you're not going to do. It can be anything. I'm not going to make the more difficult for the business community. I'm not going to raise taxes. I'm not going to tear down that historic courthouse building.
I can do that.
Another method is to answer every question with an attack on your opponent. You attack what they say, what they've done, how they run their campaign.
I don't like that one. That's not my style.
All right, then you can attack the person asking the question. Their tone of voice, the implication in the way they ask the question.
I don't like that one either.
Right? So we saved the most effective one for last.
What's that?
You question the question.
Question the question.
You did it again without even knowing it. You bounce the question right back at them. Say, you tell me, or ask them to explain it more clearly or rephrase it. Say the question isn't accurate in terms of facts. Tell them the question offends you and every decent, law-abiding citizen. By attacking the question, it doesn't upset anybody except the person asking it. And we don't care about them, unless they're lobbing softballs at you. Then we love them.
So what's the softball question?
Where do you see this town in 2 years if you are elected?
Well, I see Breezywood as a wonderful place to live and work and raise a family of healthy, happy children. Does that stuff really work?
I guess you're about to find out.
So who's going to be asking these questions?
3 reporters.
Wolf TV?
Mm-hmm.
WDBN?
Yep.
Anyone else? Not long after that, Dick Phelps called me on the phone and asked me if I felt comfortable coming to an informal meeting at the lodge that he belonged to. Just a few people with a special interest in the election. I told him that I wasn't particularly comfortable coming to his lodge. Could we meet at a more public place? He wasn't fond of the idea, but he said sure. We could meet at his diner, a room in the back where social clubs gathered together for breakfast sometimes. Thursday night at 8 o'clock. So I drove out that night. Parking lot was packed. The diner's always doing a good business.
Hi, Coach.
Hi, Angie.
I think you're in trouble. T-R-U-O-B.
Ellie?
Ellie. Go Rebels.
Go Rebels. So she took me to a room in the back, and there they all were. All the people that ran Breezywood. The mayor, councilwoman, top doctor, bank president, Dr. Brinkley. The only person missing was the man that sold me my truck.
Xavier, good to see you, son.
Good to see you, Mr. Phelps.
No, I want to say up front that if I thought this mayor business was going to come between you and me, I never would have tangled you up in this mess.
Got myself tangled up. It's nothing to do with you.
Well, I don't see it that way, but okay. Come in, have a seat at the head of the table. You know everybody and probably know why we asked you here tonight.
Something to do with the election.
This whole thing has gotten completely out of hand. I agree with you.
And we've got to rein it in before we make ourselves a laughing stock.
What part are we reining in, Mr. Burns? Me?
That'd be a good place to start.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Xavier, would you like a beer? I know I could use one.
I'm not much of a drinking man, Mr. Phelps. You know that.
Oh, come on, Xavier, it's on me. Phil, help bury the hatchet. Have a powwow.
Wow. Okay, I'll take one, whatever you have.
Anybody else? Angie! What about the rest of these fine people?
You said to bring beers for you and Coach.
No, you got that wrong. Everybody. It's on me.
That's not what you said.
She ordered the round of beers for everyone and brought them out at a good time.
Coach?
Yes?
What would you say if we asked you to drop out of the race for mayor?
I thought about that probably 100 times over the last couple weeks.
And what did you come up with?
Not a thing.
Still time, Coach.
You're not even on the ballot, Coach. You can pull out of this thing anytime you want. No harm done.
I handed out a lot of cards.
I know, I see them lying all over the sidewalk where people threw them after you walked away.
Ouch. You saying nobody's gonna vote for me?
Well, some will. There's always a few in the barrel.
Fish or apples? Don't you go shooting at my barrel now. That was a joke.
Nobody's shooting anybody.
So what are we doing?
I think it's plain, Coach. We want you to announce that you're quitting the race.
What race? The black race? That'll be pretty hard. Beers seem to evaporate at that point.
Angie, another round on the double.
Look, Coach, a lot of us here feel that this is in your best interest.
What's in my best interest? Somebody tell me.
When you can't win, you make a fool out of yourself.
Says you.
I don't think I like your tone. You're giving me just cause every time you open your mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not your man. It's Dr. Brinkley.
Let's try to keep this civil, shall we?
I won't be spoken to like that by one of my employees.
He didn't mean it to be disrespectful, Dr. Brinkley.
Arguing over this stuff isn't getting us anywhere. We came here to persuade Xavier to drop his campaign. Everything you're saying here tonight is only making him more determined.
That's not true. I don't allow what people say to make me more determined. I was already determined. Or haven't I shown you guys clearly enough over the last couple of weeks?
So it's perfectly clear.
I'm going to speak for all of us, Coach, but I'm going to need your solemn promise that you're not going to tell anyone what I'm about to say.
Fire away.
Okay, wait. Look, first, I would like you to read over this confidentiality agreement, okay? Now, by signing this agreement, you're going to hereby...
I'm not signing anything.
Put that away. I'll vouch for Xavier any day of the year.
He's been really chummy with a reporter from Pittsburgh.
He's not going to tell anybody.
Depends
Is
on
he, Dick?
Depends on what he's going to say. Take your pen back. Anyway, the beers seem to drink themselves once again. Angie brought us a third round. I think we needed her at that point. So what is it you're telling me?
We collectively have decided to compensate you for any time and any expenses you may have incurred while running for office in the upcoming election.
It's a generous amount, I may add, Coach.
So you guys are trying to bribe me? Really?
I want you to know that I am not completely a part of this. If it was up to me, I would just terminate you.
Kind of hard with that big game coming up.
Everyone knows that you haven't gotten a prayer against the other team.
I'm going to tell them that you said that.
Please, Dr. Brinkley, we need solidarity on this.
Still don't like the way he talks to me.
I think it's time I go. What do I owe you for the beers?
No, Xavier, that's on me, but I really wish you'd stay and talk this over. And I want everybody to park their egos outside the door. This man means the world to me, and I don't like the way he's being treated here tonight. Get it? Get it?
What do you say, Coach?
We'll give you a generous settlement.
Nothing personal, Coach. It's just that we feel it's in the best interest of the town.
I don't think that you want to walk out of this meeting without striking an agreement with us.
Brinkley, will you shut up?
What's going to happen when I walk out?
Nothing's going to happen.
You heard me.
Nothing's going to happen, Xavier. But I think it is best you leave. You'll never get an accord here tonight. But I want you to think this over, and if you have a change of heart, just let me know.
Thanks for the beers.
I believe that the Klan can be a vehicle for the re-education of the white race as to their culture and their heritage. I believe that the Bible is an integral part of that message and that it must be presented to the people in a comprehensive way. I think we have to regain our heritage, our sense of identity as to who we really are and what our place is on the earth.
So I left the meeting, walked through the diner, out of the door into the parking lot, got to my car and was about to pull off. And that's when I heard the sirens and saw the flashing lights. Freddie got out of his cop car, came over to me and opened my door.
Step out of the car, Coach.
Why?
Said step out of the car.
What for?
Suspicion of driving while impaired.
How could you be suspicious? I just got behind the wheel. I haven't even moved more than 10 feet. Were you out here waiting for me in the parking lot to leave?
Get out of the car, Coach. I'm not telling you again. You don't want me calling for backup.
You don't have any backup in this town. It's just two part-timers that need Velcro to untie their shoes. Go ahead, call them. Matter of fact, go inside and have Angie get you a beer. I'll wait for the posse to arrive.
You are under arrest for DWI. Now give me your keys and put your hands behind your back.
So a small crowd had begun to gather outside the diner door. Dr. Brinkley was standing outside along with the other folks that were at the meeting that I just left. Everybody but Dick Phelps. Freddie put me in the back of his cop car, took me to the station. That's where they booked me and threw me in the cell. They let me make one phone call.
Well, this story just keeps getting better and better.
Thanks for coming so fast.
Are you kidding? I might win an Emmy for this story.
No pictures.
Of course there'll be pictures.
I said no pictures.
What are you talking about?
Look, can you just take me home? I don't want this night to get any worse than it already has.
Seriously.
Just take me home.
If you didn't want me to do a story, why did you call me to come to the station?
Just for this, to take me home.
Your wife could have driven you home.
If they would have kept me locked up until the morning if she would have came to get me. They were afraid of what you would tell the morning news if they didn't release me to you.
Yeah, well thanks for nothing then.
You're a good deed for the day.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm grateful.
So, are you drunk? Were you weaving all over the road?
Not drunk. Maybe over the legal limit, I don't know. I never even left the parking lot.
Was it entrapment?
Is that what they call it when a cop's waiting outside the diner just for you, knowing that you're drinking, even though you're not a drinking man? Angie just kept bringing them and bringing them.
And you didn't have to keep drinking them. It wasn't very smart.
They were all doing it. But I'm the only one to get busted half a minute after I left that meeting. And then she asked what the meeting was about, and I told her. She smiled. With a big smile. She was enjoying this. So what are you smiling about?
Oh, I'm definitely winning that Emmy.
Happy for you. But what am I gonna do?
Nothing, just stay the course. They don't dare touch you.
They've already touched me. I'll lose my job over this.
Not a chance in hell. They try that and this story will be all over the country. It already would be if you'd let me film back there. Election tampering, bribery, false arrest.
Look, you really think they won't come after me about this?
They were just trying to send you a message, and a pretty clumsy one at that. So, where am I taking you now?
What are my options?
You're not gonna catch some Klansman's kid down on the block buying drugs from old Aunt Jemima. You're not gonna find a Klansman's kid down at the porno shop in the Pete booth watching some filth. You're not gonna find a Klansman's kid standing on a corner of town swearing and cursing and yelling at some old woman or some old man. You're not gonna find a Klansman's kid that do what these black people did in Harrisburg, where they kicked a man to death just because he was walking home from work, just because he was white, and just because they were black. Isn't that a race crime? Why aren't they being treated as equally as a white that commits a crime against a black? Because the government is scared to death of the black people.
Hey, hello.
What do you want?
So where's the football guy?
Coach Books?
I haven't seen him yet. He's probably backstage memorizing the answers to the questions you gave him.
You know what, Marta? Do me a favor. Sit between us for the debate. I don't trust myself with this pen.
Ladies and gentlemen, is this mic on? Ladies and gentlemen, please, excuse me, can I have your attention? Please sit down. Can you please all take your seats?
Sit down! Freddie, keep your gun in the air. Maybe that'll get their attention. No. Really, I was just kidding. We don't have much time here tonight, so please, everybody sit down.
Thank you all for coming to Breezywood, Pennsylvania for our mayoral debate. We We are a small-knit community, and we are not accustomed to the spotlight that we have gotten this last couple of weeks, both for our football team, the Breezywood Rebels, and for our mayoral race. I am Pastor Grace, and I am your moderator for this evening, and I want to begin this evening with a prayer.
So where the hell is OJ?
Oh my God. Lord God, please bless the people of Breezywood as we search for a suitable candidate for the office of mayor. We ask you to bless the two party candidates and the declared write-in candidate. Heavenly Father, we ask you these things through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
I'm really starting to get worried.
Don't you think it's a little funny if the guy running for mayor can't find City Hall?
Our candidates, Mr. Richard Phelps, Republican, and Mrs. Louise Matthews, Democrat.
Wait, what are you doing? Do you mean you're not going to wait for Xavier Books?
I've known Xavier his entire life. He's not here now. He's not gonna be.
Well, then where would he be?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, my guess is that it would have to be something pretty serious for him not to be here now.
They're just not dependable, it's a fact.
Somebody go see if he's pulling in the lot. Doc, Morgans, get up here. Behrens. Where is he?
Who?
You just take the feedback off for a minute and listen.
Sorry, Dick.
Well, we gotta find Xavier and fast. It's humiliating. We're on national television.
Did I start passing the beers around to everyone?
Yes, but not to the football team.
We all saw him last night at the diner.
Yeah?
Has anybody seen him since?
Was he at school today?
Well, he should have been at practice. Vic, get up here. Was practice running late?
I just talked to Tori. He said that Coach Brooks did not show up.
That's impossible. The state title game is 4 days away.
Teresa, when did he leave home this morning?
He's not answering his phone. It's going straight to voicemail.
Was that uncommon for him?
No, not when there's a big game coming up.
He wasn't at practice today.
Now I'm really worried.
I am too.
Did he leave home this morning?
Or didn't he come home last night?
Coach Books was in the police station drunk tank last night. We all watched him being taken away.
The drunk tank? But Xavier never drinks that much.
He drank last night. He drank a lot.
Where? At the diner? Wasn't he there for a meeting with you?
Yes, but there was some beer served, and when he left, he was feeling no pain.
I got orders to release him early this morning.
Orders from whom?
Mayor, I'm not at liberty to say.
It's my understanding that he was arrested right after he started his car by you.
Whenever a person who is legally over the limit enters
Yes,
his vehicle,
officer,
he is...
yes, I know. But why were you in the diner parking lot?
Why do you even know about this? Were you there?
I might as well tell you before Freddie blurts it out.
Freddie, go out there and find him. Use your imagination. No, forget that. Just drive up and down the grid, all the street. Go to his office. Go!
Does anyone else want a beer?
Do us a favor, honey. Keep Freddie company.
I picked up Coach at the police station after he was arrested.
Well, how did you even know he was arrested?
He called me to come get him and take him home.
He called you? And did you?
Did I what?
Take him home.
Where did you take him? Did you take him to Lori's? Lori, did Coach stay at your house last night?
I didn't see him. He didn't come at all at my house.
Are you completely sure?
I swear, you're not listening.
We're going to start the debate and hope he shows up. Otherwise...
How do we run a debate if all the candidates aren't here?
We ask our prepared questions.
Even without a candidate.
We will begin our debate with our guest from Wolf News, Kelly Graham.
Thank you, Pastor Bruce. God bless you. God bless the folks of Breezywood, Pennsylvania, and God bless the United States of America. Mayor Phelps, will you please tell us your honest and true thoughts when you first learned that a man who could be called your protege, a man you personally rescued from the ghetto, helped raise, helped put through public school, I understand he wasn't a very good student, a man who put through college, helped obtain his job after college when nobody else would hire him. A man who in essence owes everything he is and everything he has to you. Tell us what you would think of a man who would then, I suppose, we could almost say backstab you, to show such ingratitude to you for what the fine members of this community and the grand Commonwealth have done for him. A lifetime of entitlements, Medicaid, affirmative action, welfare, all the benefits of a teacher's union contract, which we all know is crippling the smaller Western Pennsylvania school districts. And tell us what you think of a man that you think of as your own personal reclamation project. And he turns around and tries to take away your job.
With all due respect, Miss Graham, I don't know how to answer your question. I never thought of Xavier Books as owing me a thing. I did what I did for him out of a sense of responsibility to anyone who would find him or herself disadvantaged by the circumstances of their birth.
And he thanks you for that by coming back and spitting in your face. I mean, talk about biting the hand. I imagine that could be a hard pill for you to swallow.
No, not at all. Xavier Books is an upstanding young man, a great football coach, and a wonderful member of the Breezywood community.
But the one time in his life where you asked him to help you asked him respectfully to help you find a suitable candidate to replace you. Well, what does he do? He decides to take away your office for himself.
That's not at all the way it appeared to me.
Your 60 seconds are up, Mayor Phelps. Next question will be asked by Sonia Cooper of MSDBG.
Thank you. Mayor Phelps, do you really feel as though Xavier Books has stabbed you in the back, as a Wolf News reporter has so unfortunately characterized it? Don't you really feel that maybe Mr. Books saw this as an opportunity to break new ground in Western Pennsylvania politics? A beloved, popular black man running for office in a small, predominantly white town. Or do you see this as a lesson in civics? A democratic way to address the white privilege that you and almost everyone in this town is taking for granted?
Thank you for your question, Ms. Cooper. It's not a question about anything that Xavier Books did that was inappropriate. It's about what's best for the town of Breezywood. Breezywood needs somebody who can hold this town together during tough times, and I've proven I can be that person. The only negative thing I'd have to say about Ms. Matthews or Mr. Books is that they don't have the experience I have in running this town. It's not a simple job. And even though there's nothing wrong with a little on-the-job training, you don't want somebody sitting behind that desk who doesn't have at least a little experience in public service.
Thank you. I'd like to see some questions directed to both candidates here. Ms. Eichenwald, do you have a question for one of the candidates?
Thank you, Pastor Grace. The qualifications of Xavier Books seem to be so much in question here tonight, so I'd like to ask Ms. Matthews, what do you think your qualities are to be the town's mayor for the next 4 years?
Ms. Matthews?
Thank you, Ms. Eichenwald. My first qualification is I was born and raised in Breezywood. I went to school in Breezywood. I got married and have 6 children in Breezywood. I have a job in Breezywood. I pay taxes to Breezywood. I buy my clothing and my food in Breezywood. I sing with the Sweet Adelaides in Breezywood. I run a Girl Scouting troop in Breezywood. I go to church in Breezywood. I pay my watch in Breezywood. I am Breezywood.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about your qualifications for mayor? Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
Billy Brittany, do you have a question for one of our candidates?
Well, this question was originally intended for Coach Books, but things have gotten cold feet. So, I guess I'll ask it of Mayor Phelps. You know, we constantly hear how people of color don't get the opportunities that white people get, and therefore we need to give them more opportunities. But our nation's history shows that even when given opportunities, blacks don't seem able to use them to good advantage.
Oh, here we go.
Fact. Black IQ scores are consistently 15 points lower than white IQ scores. Blacks have won the Nobel Prize, you say? It'd be pretty smart to do that. But Obama, he won the Nobel Prize for peace. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, for peace. No black has won for science, physics, chemistry, medicine. As regards crime, fact, only 10% of Americans are black. But over a third of men in prison in this country are black. Do you want to know why? Fact, they commit nearly 30% of all the rapes in this country, more than half of all the robberies, and way more than half of all the murders. As regards health, fact, blacks are not as healthy as white people. They get sicker at a higher rate, partly because they have such poor health habits. Diet, alcohol consumption, fact. Blacks use illicit drugs at a higher rate than white people do. And there are innate physiological differences that contribute to their ill health as well. Fact. 75% of unwed mothers are black as regards civic duty. Blacks want the right to vote. When they get the right, they don't vote. Fact, more than a third of registered black voters never turn out to the polls. I mean, God only knows why. As regards service to our country, the Medal of Honor, it was created during the American Civil War, and it's the highest military decoration presented by the United States government to a member of its armed forces. Fact. Of the 3,470 Medals of Honor awarded, only 91 have been awarded to blacks. In fact, there have been no black four-star generals in the Marine Corps. Not one. There have been only 7 black governors in 250 years of American history. Fact, there's been but 1 black president. As regards financial independence, homeownership is long regarded as a sign of commitment to our community and the #1 means by which we gain equity, wealth, the best investment. Fact, while 75% of white people make that investment, only a little over 40% of blacks care enough about financial independence to invest in their own homes. Do you want to know where they do spend their money? Fact. 30% more blacks spend their earnings on conspicuous consumption than whites on fancy clothes and bling and flashy cars than investing in their own homes. And listen to this one. Fact, 47% of those who file tax returns pay no income tax, but those same 47% receive the highest percentage of federal assistance. I don't think I need to tell you who those 47% are, do I?
Excuse me, Miss Ring, do you have a question in all this for one of our candidates?
Seriously. My question to you, Mr. Phelps, is this. How dumb must Xavier Books think you, the voters, are in the face of, overwhelming evidence that blacks simply don't have what it takes? They don't have intelligence, perseverance, wisdom, fiscal responsibility, moral compass that it takes to run a town.
We have something to report.
Where is he? Is he okay?
We didn't find him, but we found his car. Where was it? Next to the park, other side of town.
I live right at the park. He wasn't at my house. What else did you find?
I think I should speak privately with Mayor Phelps.
What else did you find?
Wallet and shoes, and they were in the front seat. No sign of safety? No, not yet.
Well, was there anything else in the car? Keys, phone?
Keys in the ignition, cell phone on the dash. Oh, he left a note for Teresa.
Do you know what the burden of being black in this country is? Either you are exalted as some type of hero or you are a criminal.
It's hard to believe that a full year has passed since the meteoric rise to national attention of small-town Breezywood, Pennsylvania's charismatic mayoral candidate and high school football coach Xavier Books' unexplained disappearance just one day before the town's election and 4 days before he was to lead the Breezywood Rebels to the state championship game.
Exactly 1 year ago tonight, a black man shocked an entire town when he walked away from a mayoral election debate, which had become national news, when he decided to run as a write-in candidate long after the legal deadline for registering his candidacy had passed, only to play the race card when legally registered candidates for that office understandably pushed back.
Xavier Books, or Coach Books as he was popularly known, was last seen leaving the Breezywood Police Department with Marta Eckenwald, a Pittsburgh television news anchor, after his arrest on questionable charges of driving under the influence.
The night of the debate, in a crammed gymnasium filled with townspeople and national media, he simply chose not to show up. A search turned up compelling evidence that Xavier Books, who is married, has been keeping a love nest with a young woman in town. Some have speculated that Books, fearing exposure for his sins, chose instead to run away with his reported lover.
Was Xavier Books the victim of a terrible crime? And if so, was that crime racially motivated? Or was the mounting pressure of preparing his team for the high school football championship game and running for public office too heavy a burden for Xavier Books, and did it drive him to seek escape through self-harm?
Xavier Books has remained in hiding ever since. Local police do not believe there was foul play.
I've known Coach Books since we were kids. I like him, we're friends, but he's always been a little gun shy. Never liked a challenge. Never liked seeing those linebackers bearing down on him. Always blamed his blockers if the play didn't go right. I think this mayoral idea of his and this championship game he didn't have a prayer of winning, well, I think that broke something in him. Maybe for the good. Maybe he finally saw himself as he really was. Just a man, like the rest of us.
Damn shame him running off that way. Made us all look bad. Hurt everyone. But this town will recover. Already people aren't talking about him the way they did right after he run off. We got a new football coach. Team did just fine without him. We won a bunch of games this year, didn't we? 2? That's all? Well, anyway, I hate to say this, but the town is better off without him. New blood and all.
I would have bet a lot of money on Coach Books. Strong as an ox. Both in mind and spirit, I would have told you. But you never really know a man until the chips are down, do you? Let me just tell you this. Coach had a lot of baggage, and I think it just got too heavy to carry.
Although many in town were critical of the speculation of what might have happened to Coach Books, those who knew him closely were extremely united in their belief that Coach Books was no quitter.
Just let me make this perfectly clear. Xavier never ran away from a challenge. He was the strongest man I have ever known, and he would never have ended his life either, no matter how heavy the burden he faced.
Xavier Books was more than a dear friend. He was the son I never had. I can't believe that he would turn tail when things got difficult. That wasn't like him. I honestly don't know what happened. I just don't know.
I brought him into this world, biggest baby I ever saw, and the heaviest. Watching him grow up, never knew him to break down. And the brain, well, it's not made of steel. It can bend, it can melt down. He was under a lot of pressure. We may never know what happened when all that pressure reached its boiling point.
Breezywood Police Department, Lieutenant Bernard speaking. How can I help you? Hello?
Don't hang up. I'm asking you, please, don't hang up.
I got nothing to say to you.
You've given dozens of interviews to the national media.
Ms. Eichenwald, I am telling you this one last time, and then I am hanging up this phone. You remain a person of interest in this missing persons case.
The grand jury would have indicted me if there was the least shred of evidence.
You were the last person to have seen Coach Books that night.
No, I was not. Someone else must have been there when he got out of that
I'm warning
car.
you, Ms. Eichenwald, if you continue to make these phone calls after I have told you to stop, I am seeking an arrest warrant against...
As a person of interest in the disappearance of Coach Books, I had already been given an order not to interview the residents of Breezywood, implying that I would be interfering in the investigation, that I would somehow be intimidating potential witnesses to whatever actually happened to him. The station attorneys got that order withdrawn, but the station owners strongly suggested I stay away from Breezywood and let things cool off before venturing back there for a story. It's been a year, and that's enough of a cool down. I decided it was time to return to Breezywood and learn the truth about what happened. Good morning, I'm Marta Eichenwald.
I know you, you're that woman. You should be in jail.
Well, I just want to ask you a few questions.
Good. Hi there. I'm
You have a hell of a nerve coming back here after what you did.
What is it you think I've done? He was a married man, you know. I just want to know what you think. Hi, I'm Marta Eichenwald from WB.
No comment.
I haven't asked you anything yet. Why do you say no comment when you haven't heard what I have to ask? What does everyone in this town have to hide? Do you know anything about the disappearance of Xavier Books?
He's gone missing. Well, I just had better go look for him.
What do you think happened to him?
I'll tell you exactly what I think. It's exactly what I told Coach Books when he came by my house asking me to vote for him for mayor.
Well, thank you for speaking with us. What did you tell Coach Books?
Well, I told him that I have never been so proud to be a member of the Breezywood community as the day that he decided to step forward in the service of his town. And I told him that I would back him both in spirit and in checkbook if necessary.
What did Coach say in response to your show of support?
Oh, he was very grateful. He thanked me profusely. Coach Books was such a polite man.
Did he seem at all concerned at any time about his running for office might posing a danger to him?
No, not at all. I do think I remember him saying something like, I said to him, Coach Books, I think that you should do this. Xavier, for yourself and for Teresa, his wife, I think you should do it for our town. Do it.
Well, thank you very much. Hello, sir. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Young lady? Why, of course you may.
Well, I'd like to ask you about Xavier Books and about his sudden disappearance a year ago.
Why would you want to do that?
Don't you find it odd that someone could just disappear off the streets without a trace?
Get the hell off my street.
I'm sorry? What?
I said get the hell out of my city.
Do you even want me to keep filming? I mean, can we go back to Pittsburgh so I can take a shower and wash the stain and the stench of this town off of me?
Maybe it's the camera. I think you're scaring them off. Look, just go back to the hotel and wait for my call. I'll try going about this a different way. Mayor Phelps? Hello? Anyone here? Mayor Phelps?
I'll be right with you. Oh my goodness, what are you doing here?
Ms. Matthews? Well, I could ask you the same question.
Why wouldn't I be here?
I came to speak with Dick Phelps. Is he expected in this morning?
I am Mayor of Breezywood now.
Of course you are. What happened to Dick Phelps?
He lost. I beat him. I won the election.
You beat Dick Phelps?
Coach Books got a lot of write-in, and Dick Phelps made a lot of enemies trying to defend that. I don't even know what to say about Coach Books anymore. We're all glad he's gone. That's all I can say.
I'll bet you are.
I thought you were told to stay away from Breezywood until the investigation cleared you of any suspicious wrongdoing.
Oh, there actually is an investigation.
Look, Miss Eichenwald, I'm a very busy woman. I have to work all day cleaning up the mess that Dick Phelps left behind.
Don't you have a secretary?
I fired her.
Why would you do that?
She didn't have the qualifications we needed of someone who works at Town Hall.
Why? Was she black?
What?
Mayor Matthews, I will come right to the point. Where can I find Dick Phelps?
Don't you want to ask me anything?
Do you know anything?
About what?
What do you think happened to Xavier Books the night he disappeared?
I wouldn't know. He was a very troubled man.
Troubled? How do you mean?
You should know. You were the last to see him.
So I'm told.
Why would he have called you to pick him up from the police station that night? Why wouldn't he have called his own wife?
Why do you think?
I'd rather not put it into words.
Oh, please, I'd like to hear what the new mayor of Breezywood, the woman who stood up in that debate and said for all the world to hear, I am Breezywood. I'd like to hear what she thinks happened to Xavier Books.
He was fucking every white woman in town.
You don't say. Oh, well, that's quite an admission. So when exactly did you and Coach Books first become involved with each other?
What?
Well, you said that he
I
was
didn't mean it like
every
that.
woman in
It's
town.
just a figure of
And that
speech.
would include you,
I didn't mean it
presumably.
like that.
Of course not. How did you mean it?
He was shacking up with that girl who lives across from the park. That shampoo girl at the salon. Everyone knows about it. And we don't do things like that in Breezywood. And The men in town don't much like it when their women take up with, I've said enough.
Do you think that they even recognized that he was slowly vanishing right before their eyes because they never acknowledged him? They needed him, and that's the only time that they saw him.
Dick Phelps was the one I had to talk to. So I went to his diner. He wasn't there. Neither was his manager, Angie. So where does a town's leading entrepreneur and former mayor spend his day? Dick Phelps!
Marta Eichenwald, I just loved your show. Why did it get canceled?
What are you doing here?
I'll go get some beers.
What? You gonna try and get me drunk too?
Isn't there a court order against you?
Oh, that little thing. No, the DA dropped that when someone from town remembered that nagging little First Amendment.
Maybe I should make a phone call.
Maybe you should. Did you make a phone call that night?
What night?
The night Xavier Books vanished.
Do you think I have anything to do with that? You have no idea how much I love that man.
Well, if you loved him, you'll talk to me.
No, go away. You're just going to reopen a painful chapter.
Why is it that everyone in this town is afraid to answer a few questions?
It's not the questions they're afraid of. It's the way you'll spin the answers.
I'm not getting any answers.
Well, you're trespassing, so hasta la vista.
Oh, no. I paid for 3 games in this lane next to yours. If anyone asks, I'm bowling.
Well then, bowl.
When's the last time you spoke to Xavier?
Jesus Christ!
What happened to Xavier Books?
How should I know?
Because if he were going to go away, he would have talked to you about it first.
That's ridiculous.
You're the one person in this town he would have come to if he was in trouble.
You don't know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
I do. Even though you set him up in the diner that night.
You were just trying to help him understand what he was up against.
Yeah, what? You're trying to bribe him to drop out of the race?
That was Vic Morris's bright idea.
Everyone in town knows you'd stick by him in the end, even if it cost you the election, which, as it turns out, it did. What happened to Xavier Books?
I don't know.
Who does know?
I don't know that either.
Well, that answer scares me to my shoes.
Why is that?
Because if you didn't know something, you should have said that Xavier's the only one who could answer that.
Look, if I knew the answer, I'd tell you. I really would. There's just so much about this that I
Well,
just
that
don't
says
understand.
there's a lot to know. What is there to know? What is it you don't understand?
I got a bowl. Enjoy your stay in Breezywood. And if I were you, I'd make it short.
I have nothing to say to you.
You belong to that club too. At least everyone in town has that much in common.
Now, I'm a very busy man, and I need you to leave.
Why did you try to bribe Coach Books not to run for mayor?
Nobody tried to bribe anyone to do anything.
Did you really fire his wife when she started to run his campaign with him?
Campaign. He didn't have a campaign. He printed up a bunch of cards. He ran around town handing them out to anyone that would take one.
Well, if he wasn't campaigning, then his wife couldn't have been fired for helping him.
That's correct. She was not fired for campaigning.
Then why was she fired?
Insubordination.
If she was insubordinate, why did you hire her back a day later?
That's confidential.
Oh, like the bribe you offered Coach to stop running the campaign you said he didn't have. You people. You make my head spin.
Should you go to air with so much of a hint that I tried to bribe
Dick Phelps already let that out of the bag.
Dick Phelps. Now there's a winner. The town really had him wrong.
But it's not an interesting enough story unless something happened to Coach when he refused you. Did he refuse you?
I'm not talking to you.
All right. Just tell me this and I'll go.
What?
What happened to Xavier Books?
He ran off. How should I know?
Are you sorry?
Sorry? Why should I be sorry? I had nothing to do with it.
To do with what? You said you had nothing to do with it. What is it?
His running off.
How do you know he ran off? Maybe he was run off.
Maybe he committed suicide. How should I know?
Well, somebody knows.
We were brought here for agriculture for the South and labor in the North for industry. Then when they decided that we were 3/5 of a person, never whole, never complete. So yes, he was broken.
be forewarned. If you don't leave here right now, I'm going to call security and have you thrown out on your ass.
Can you repeat that?
You heard me.
Yes, but I want to make sure I got it.
Were you recording that?
Of course. I'm interviewing you.
I'm going to call security and have them take that phone.
Oh, too late. I just uploaded it to the station.
Look, what is the point of you coming around here and asking a lot of useless questions?
Why do you think I'm here?
To cause trouble.
Now, how does it cause trouble for anyone if I'm just trying to find out what happened to Xavier Books?
You will never find out what happened to Coach Books.
Well, you must know what happened, or you to be so sure that we wouldn't find out.
He stepped over the line.
What line? Whose line?
He stepped out of bounds, and when he tried to get back onto the field, it was too late. And when he realized what it had done, how badly it was going to turn out, he did what every failure does.
What? Disappear. A lot of people fall short of some goal or dream, but they don't disappear from the face of the earth.
I guess he just didn't have what it takes.
And what does it take? To change color?
Don't let them pull you into the lie, Xavier. The lie that they're mild-mannered, polite, middle-class white people who smile and compliment us, who don't want any trouble. They got hatred in their hearts. You can't educate it out of these people. They're invested in our oppression.
I heard you were in town.
May I come in?
Not until you answer a question first.
No, I did not sleep with your husband.
It's not the question I was going to ask.
Go ahead.
Where'd you really take him that night?
Don't you believe what I told the police?
I want to hear it from you.
I drove him to his car. He got in and I watched him start it. He gave me the thumbs up and waved for me to leave, so I did.
And you never saw him again?
I did not.
And he didn't call you?
No. I wish he had.
Me too. You can come in.
Thank you, Mrs. Books. May I call you Teresa?
Yes.
All right, Teresa. I need you to be candid with me, otherwise we're just wasting each other's time.
I've got nothing to hide. Go for it.
All right. What was Xavier's relationship with Lori Meadows, who lived in a house that happened to be across the park from where Xavier's car was found? A house owned by him and that he frequently visited late in the evening and sometimes spent the night.
There is so much innuendo in what you just said instead of truth. Xavier would never do anything to bring shame or disgrace upon his family, his friends, or the town of Breezywood, and he hasn't done it now.
Do you know about this? It's a medical report signed by the treating physician at Breezywood Medical Center and dated 3 weeks before Xavier's disappearance. 7 a.m., Lori Meadows seeking treatment for severe bruising and facial trauma from injuries caused by Xavier Books earlier that morning. She said, "I got the black eye when I interrupted him while he was shaving." And then afterwards, he just left her there to drive herself to the hospital. She told the doctor he was in a hurry and she was afraid of making him late for his appointment. It's not innuendo, signed and sealed. Is that enough truth for you?
I know this. Xavier and I have been married for 12 years, and up until this last year, it was the happiest years of our lives.
So who is Lori Meadows? Why is she living in a house that he owns, and why does he spend the night there?
Lori Meadows is our daughter. His daughter by birth, our daughter by marriage.
Daughter? I did extensive research on Xavier, and there was no daughter.
Lori first contacted him after her mother died. She was somebody he dated briefly while at Bloomsburg. She was white. She never even told him she was pregnant. She dropped out of school. She never told him she'd had the baby. She never asked for any money. Nothing. So when Lori called Xavier, she asked him if she could move to Breezywood, and he vowed to take care of her while she figured out what she wanted to do for the rest of her life. I didn't like the idea of some young woman I didn't even know or never even knew existed showing up in my house and disrupting our lives, and, well, I'm ashamed for that now. So Xavier borrowed money. He bought the house on Baker's Alley. He got her a job. He took care of the place, and he dropped in to see her occasionally to make sure she was doing okay. There. That's the truth. Please,
Keep it to yourself.
But none of that explains why he beat her and just
He never beat me, he never hit me.
Well, that's certainly a dramatic entrance.
She asked if she could move in after Xavier went missing.
Can't say I blame her.
Didn't feel safe in the house.
It was an accident. He never hurt me. He was shaving and opened the door as I was walking in and gave me a black eye. I overreacted, thought it was worse than it was. I explained this all to the emergency room doctor, but you just take everything I said and twist it to make it sound like he attacked me. He loved me. He did everything he could for me since my mother passed away.
So why all the secrecy? Why the sneaking around?
Because Coach and I were afraid this town would think they found out I was biracial.
You're not the only biracial woman in Breezywood.
Yes, I am.
There. Now I think you got answers to all your questions. Maybe even a few you didn't ask.
I honestly do want to help find out what happened to him.
And folks in this town hope we never do.
What do you think the answer is?
I forced myself not to say it out loud.
Is there anything you feel that you could have done to prevent it from happening?
There's one thing I regret.
What is that?
I was so concerned about what had happened to Xavier that night that I let things get said at that debate. Terrible things, distortions, outright lies that I should never have let gone by without addressing them point by point. All it would have taken was everybody who knew better to stand up and address those lies.
One last question.
Shoot.
What was in the note? You never revealed what he wrote you.
There's a reason for that.
Which is?
Keep people guessing.
Of course. And if the guilty party thought Xavier had written something that implicated them...
Exactly. They might do something stupid enough to reveal themselves. Everybody asked what Xavier had written to me in this note. It's natural curiosity and not out of the ordinary. Here's the note.
What does this mean?
Not a clue.
It's just X's and O's.
It's the language Xavier spoke.
There was only one place left in this town that might hold some secret just waiting for me to find it out. So I went down to the diner, parked my car on the lot in the back, and sat in the dark for a long time. And then a familiar face appeared. Are you the security guard in this parking lot, officer?
Just doing my duty.
I'd like to know what the duty is in this town.
My job is to enforce the law to protect the good people of this town.
All the people, Freddie?
My sworn duty.
Freddie, I don't think for a moment you had anything to do with Coach Book's disappearance.
I don't really care what you think.
I just hate to see you get caught up in something because you didn't have the good sense.
You're still the principal person of interest in this case.
I'd be under indictment if I were.
You're the last one to have seen him alive.
You and I know that's not true.
Sounds like you're whistling in the dark.
Why don't you get in the car? A reporter whistles in the light of truth, not in the dark, Freddie. And I'm not whistling yet because I'm still looking for the truth. And you're going to help me.
I'm not going to help you.
Oh, yes, you are.
Why should I?
You just said it was your sworn duty. Or does protecting the good people of the town not include Coach Books?
You know, I can take you in on suspicion
of... God, you are so annoying.
You can't park here all night.
Never a good idea to arrest a reporter doing her job.
Have you been drinking?
I wish. Got anything on you?
What'd you expect to find here?
Just retracing steps.
Coaches?
I don't know. Maybe yours.
Don't look at me. I was just doing my
your duty. Dirty job, someone's gotta, like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, what part of your duty were you doing that night, Freddie? No answer. What, Vic Morris, Mr. Behrens, Ms. Morgan, they all got your tongue? Afraid to speak? What happened to him, Freddie?
You're the last one to see him.
Oh, no. I'm the last person to have been seen with him. That's all the difference in the world.
What do you think happened? You're the one still stirring the pot after a year.
And this town did everything in its power to keep me from stirring it a hell of a lot sooner. Whatever scent there was is long gone by now.
What really happened between you two that night after you left the police station?
I told you. I told the DA, I told the grand jury, and everyone else. When I asked him where I was taking him, he said, "What are my options?"
That would have been Coach.
And I said, one of them is you could drive yourself home. So he said, well then take me to the diner parking lot. And I did. And we said goodnight and I never saw him again.
You must have a theory.
Let me ask you something, Freddie. Why do so many black men and women go missing in this country every year?
White people disappear too. Happens all the time. I get the bulletins.
But not at the same rate as black men and women. Why is that?
Well, you heard the lady from Wolf News at the debate.
Oh, yes, I heard her. And everything she said was a lie.
Everything?
Yes,
No.
everything. You can trust me on that. Been around a little more than you. Seen a little more. That version of blacks in America is a big fat lie.
Well, then you tell me. Why do they disappear? Broken homes, lack of education, poor health?
Ah, you keep going, Freddie. I know you're new at this thinking business. You're only scratching the surface.
What does it have to do with Coach? He had a good job, he had a wife, he had property, he had success. He just wanted more. Greed, maybe, ego.
If a white football coach with his record had run for mayor, no one would have run against him. It would have been a landslide. And he wouldn't have had the whole town come down on him and tell him how inferior he was. Fire his wife from her job, accuse him of having a girlfriend when he didn't. Send threatening packages to friends. And trap him in a DUI.
We were never going to carry through with it.
Ah, Freddie. Wouldn't you have felt the whole world was caving in on you? You've done everything right your whole life, and you've done it well. But it wasn't enough to have your own town and your friends support you. What more could you have done?
Be happy with what you got.
Yeah, well, a white man wouldn't have had to have been happy with what he got, would he?
I can't answer that. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, mind you.
Freddie,
What?
why do you suppose his car was found by the park?
I thought everybody knew that one. His girlfriend lived across the park.
Do you really believe that?
Sure, he was trying to park so nobody could see
No, I
him.
mean the part about having a girlfriend.
Are you serious? Everybody knows about
Well,
Laurie and
everybody
Coach.
was wrong.
What do you mean?
If I thought it would bring Coach back, I'd break my trust and tell you what I mean, but I can't.
Are you withholding evidence?
Oh, Freddie. You wouldn't know what to do with evidence if I handed it to you on a platter.
Oh, you're probably right.
Freddie,
Yes.
not being stupid is a full-time job.
Yeah, well, I already have a job. Gotta get back on patrol.
You go, officer. You keep a good lookout. Never know who's gonna go disappearing next in this town. Well, that was that. I'd walk the streets and talk with everyone who knew Coach, loved him or hated him.
Everybody just calls me Coach.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing?
And what had I learned? Xavier Books had reached a little farther than his grasp could hold. He told the truth, mostly, and he loved his town. God only knows why. He got to the brink of something, to the edge of bringing a state championship to a town that had never dreamed it could win a state championship. And he ran for public office as a write-in candidate, and by damned, I think he might have won. He had good ideas, and he was a proven leader. He stirred the town out of a long sleep, and he got them thinking, and he got them participating. And then he disappeared.
And the declared right
One of his assistants coached the Rebels in the state championship game. I don't know if they'd have won with Coach at the helm, but I do know they got crushed without him. And never again would the Breezywood Rebels win more games than they lost in a season. The people of Breezywood would never again win more games than they lost either. The town has continued to decay and crumble more rapidly now than before. The people still walk briskly up and down the sidewalks of Main Street, but they will never again pass a large, eternally happy black man standing on the corner. They will never again get to tell him how good a coach he is, or tell him he's a son of a bitch, or ask him to call them later. And they can never again ask Dick Phelps to call that boy of his, because that boy has left Breezywood forever.